What's going on, everybody? My name is Datir, and welcome to The Conversation. So, I want to talk to you guys today about how you are having conversations with people, be it your friends, family members, or your companion. Now, depending on who you're talking to, these things are different and it changes, but a lot of times you have to understand that a soft word spoken turns away wrath. Now, again, these things change depending on who you're talking to. I could be a person who's been very calm, very relaxed in my delivery and my approach, and that's very good for me to be that way. But if the other person that's on the receiving end is not doing the same thing, and they're kind of getting aggravated or upset about what's being said, it can cause problems. So I just want to talk to you guys about this type of topic to see what you guys are thinking when it comes to your interaction, even with your children. Because I feel like that a lot of times we are misunderstood in conversations because communication is very important, but it's very tricky. It's very hard to be able to efficiently communicate with someone. And if you're not actually working on yourself to try to develop this, it can be very disruptive in your household when it comes to your foundation and what you're trying to build. I'm a strong believer now, and as I get older and I mature and grow, I will start to learn that I have to become better always and be very mindful of how I'm trying to communicate. Because you could think you're very good at communicating, and you're really not. And that's the reason why things are not really happening in a productive way, in business, career, family, friends, or relationship. So I want to touch on this because I think it's very important. When you're dating someone, you can really like somebody, but then sometimes depending on who you are, maybe your delivery is very aggressive and not in a loving manner. Maybe someone is looking at you and they want to be respectful. They want to love you. They want to, they might look up to you with the things that you are able to do and accomplish. But you might be a great performer, but a terrible communicator. And you have to be able to identify that. And I've learned in my time that a lot of times that if a person can receive the messenger, they're more likely to receive the message. But if you're a person who makes someone feel small about themselves, you're doing things or saying things that's belittling to them, make them second guess themselves, they might start, pushing away from you and feel like they can't confide in you because they don't want to deal with what comes with having an open conversation with you. Because you don't know how this is making someone feel in their mind because you're so stuck on how you feel. Another part to this is that when you are the person who is receiving information, make sure that you're not the one that's tripping when it comes to misunderstanding something versus what someone is saying. A lot of times, someone can say something and the person be like, "Well, it's not about it's not about how I took it. It's how you put it out there." And another person like, "Well, it's not how I said it. It's how you took it." That's like a never-ending cycle. So you don't want to get caught in that. You want to really try to figure out: am I actually communicating efficiently? How am I articulating things? What it is, the verbiage that I'm using, and so forth. So I had a friend of mine who told me that, man, you're a master communicator, and it made me feel good because I really work on that, on trying to learn how to talk to each individual person differently, but I still fail. And it's different when it comes to your friend, when it comes to your companion, when it comes to whoever. You talk to people different. And it's a respect thing, it's a mutual respect thing a lot of times. If I feel like that a person is respecting me, then the way I'm choosing to talk to them is very respectful too, and maybe even more respectful because I appreciate that a person is choosing to watch their words with me. When I feel challenged sometimes in a conversation, or I feel like somebody is trying to belittle me or talk down towards me, if I'm not able to control my emotions in that moment, I might match your energy or whatever you on number five, level five. I'm gonna take it to a 10 or above just to let you know, like bring that back down. So you don't want to really get into these type of conversations a lot of times, so you want to learn how to properly communicate. So I just want to know what you guys think about this, the whole topic and the subject of about a software spoken turns away wrath. How should I grow in my communication and so forth if I'm actually trying to build with someone? A lot of times you can have good chemistry with someone in a relationship and a good, energy level with one another. You have fun with one another, but it gets messed up because you guys have a conversation and then that one conversation kills the whole energy and the whole mood you was in because a person either gets stuck, won't let something go, they chose to articulate something to you that made you embarrassed, or the time they chose to speak about it, and things like that. So I always like to gain perspective and for me to grow. So I feel like this conversation in itself will help someone to grow, to be like, what am I actually doing? Am I actually communicating in a way that is beneficial? Because we all have different styles of learning and how we learn. And my biggest thing that's helped me a lot too is knowing your audience. You can't talk to everybody the same way with the same delivery, with the same, you know, emotion. Everybody don't respond to things in the same way, and I don't look at it, oh, this person just being sensitive, or this person just whatever. Like, maybe they just don't understand what you're saying and it's coming off wrong. But I think it's always a good practice to check yourself first, and be like, man, my apologies, I'm sorry, the way I said that probably didn't come off right, or that wasn't my intentions, uh, let me try to reword that. And if it's a companion, okay, this is what I meant by that. How is that, like, how can I articulate that to you that make it comes across better? Like, how can I be more transparent with me trying to convey this message? And really, for me right now, when it comes to a relationship, I think it's very important, um, because I don't have problems like that a lot of times when it comes to friendships and stuff like that in business. But when it comes to companionship, a lot of times you may tend to be a little bit more emotional about something, and especially when it's somebody who you are with on a daily basis. But it's just me, y'all. I just really feel like that it's very important for you to have like a harmonious relationship and try to build towards that and learn how to talk to one another, because this is your teammate. This is the person who you're trying to build with and grow with. So you actually trying to learn how to um, make sure you guys are on the same page is very important, because for me this ties into being equally yoked with someone. It's a story that I heard before about when it comes to two oxes, that they're so bullheaded, or so stubborn when it comes to what they want. So they put a yoke around the neck, because an ox will go to the left, to the right, you know, and if the other ox is not yoked together with them with the harness that they have around their neck, they're gonna pull apart from one another. So only how you stay on the same path, to be able to do the job. When usually that if you was tilling a garden, you would use a ox back in the day, and when you put the yoke around their neck, that means if one ox go to the left, we're both going to the left. One go to the right, we're both going to the right. So equally yoked is for you guys to be on the same page, like having these yokes around your neck. But in real life, when it comes to you and your spouse, y'all don't have nothing around your neck to where if she turns, you turn with her. That's not how that works. But you have to have that spiritually. You have to have that, mentally. You have to have that when it comes to y'all's, um, like, whatever connects you together, as far as y'all communication and so forth. Like, we have to be able to be on one accord, because I was always taught growing up that two become one. A man and a woman, y'all become one. It's a family. Everything you do should be moved as a unit with one another. So to me, that ties into how you looking at one another when it comes to letting letting someone else into your household, letting the outside people influence what goes on into your household, other people's opinions, people who are not maybe not even be uh, fit to give you advice on these situations. It's like it's so many things that can distract you from being equally yoked with your partner. So I feel like that open communication and learning how to speak to that person and talking to that person on the issues you have with them. Finding somebody who agrees with you on a situation is not really beneficial when it comes to you trying to talk to that person and trying to get it right with that person. But that all comes with properly learning how to articulate and verbalize what you're trying to say to a person through conversation. So I think this topic is very important. So if you guys agree, please like, share, and subscribe. Um, Leave comments below the videos. I love when people interact and they allow me to know how they felt about the video, what they think on the topic, how they feel about communication, what they feel about, a software spoken turns away wrath, because I've learned from my uncle, from conversations that I have had with him, that you can be a person who is talking very sweet, very kind, very low, choosing your words, and that still doesn't mean that the other person is going to speak to you in that same way. It doesn't mean that your messages will get, across, and that they will understand you. But that is a good starting point for you to make sure that on your end that you're doing what you are supposed to do to keep your composure, so that you won't make the conversation awkward or make someone feel like that you are attacking them. Because a lot of times in conversations, what happens is people feel attacked, and so they go into defense mode trying to defend themselves. Another thing that I heard from a partner of mine was that some people, a lot of times, they listen to respond, they don't listen to understand. And sometimes that can happen when you're having a conversation, because a person may feel like you're attacking them, so they immediately are in defense mode trying to defend themselves of what you're saying. Even if they misunderstood you, it's still like, I'm still feel like that you're attacking me, and you cannot be doing that. So it's like monitoring yourself. And some people feel like this is too much. Like, man, I'm not gonna be doing all that. If I gotta do all that in a conversation, we ain't meant. You know what I mean? But then every situation, um, every relationship you get into, um, any type of job you're on, you always seem to have a problem with getting into it with people when it comes to communication. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important for us to learn how to communicate better. I think it's important for people to be able to feel comfortable being able to be open with one another in conversation, to have someone who they can unload with. And I think it's the worst thing in the world for you to be with someone, and the person who you are trying to grow with and build with is the person who you can't even openly communicate with, because the fear of the ridicule, the fear of how they're going to respond, the words they're going to use, they're going to make you feel small. And this person is so big on their mindset that they can't even see your perspective and what you're trying to say. I found myself talking to someone and realizing, and in relationships, realizing that I was so caught into what I was thinking and how I felt about something, that I didn't even take the time to be patient enough to listen to how they felt about what I was saying, or what they was getting from what I was saying. So anyway, y'all, just give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about the conversation about this topic in particular. Anyway, that's been my time. It's one love from me to you. Remember, it's progress, not perfection. You rest in the end, not the middle. My name is Datir, and welcome to the conversation.